All right, so welcome back to our lesson for today. We have been learning to code through Miss Sora, and we are on day 8 of our holiday lessons. My name is Mr. Afiki Lesikwebu. You can call me Mr. Sikwebu or whichever comes first to your memory. And to the people who are joining us for the first time, that is my name. That is my email address, afikile@africateamgeeks.co.za. If at any time you have question, you can ask it in the chat section, or you can raise your hand at the end of the session. We only take questions at the end of the session. So you can just keep your questions for that time. The theme of our lessons is Think It, Code It, and we will be learning to code together. I'm a teacher at Linkside High School, which is a high school in Port Elizabeth. I teach CAT and digital technologies. I've been teaching since last year, and then COVID happened. So yeah, you are welcome. I hope that you will have a very lovely time with us today. And as we begin, I am going to do two things. First, I'm going to go through my slides. And I've also shared on the chat section an image of the code that was not working yesterday. I'm going to try and share it with you guys again today, and we'll see if we can look at it together. So today, what we are going to do, we'll do the same thing we do every day. We'll recap, we'll look at the outcomes, we'll have questions, and I will encourage you to give me ideas. And so as a recap, we looked at yesterday how to change backdrops using code in Misora. We looked at nested if-then blocks. So if something happens, do something else. We also looked at changing values of variables in Misora. And today we are going to look at nested if-then else blocks. There is a difference between if-then and if-then else. So we are going to take a look at if-then else blocks. We are going to look at using random numbers in Misora. What are random numbers and how do we use random numbers, and where can random numbers be helpful when we are coding? So we are going to look at that today. And we will also look at changing the value of variables. Once again, I think we'll go in a more depth today, just to look at changing the value of variables. And then we are going to log in first. But before we do all of that, before we log in, I promised that yesterday and Monday, I would take projects. I would ask you guys to share your screens with us for anyone that has a project they wanted to share with us. So if you have a project that you would like to share, if you want to share your screen, I'm going to allow you to do that now while I retrieve the code from yesterday. So if there's anyone who says, I want to share my screen. Okay, so we have Zintle. So Zintle, Mr. Host, if you can please spotlight Zintle so she can share her screen. Okay, Zinte, if you look at the bottom of your screen where there's chats, please just click on share screen. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. That was a cool game. I liked the first one where you have to click on the colors. Do you perhaps want to share the code with us and talk us through the code? Do you want to do that? Can you open your code and then share the code and talk us through your code? Would you want to do that? Okay, that's fine, Zinhle. Okay, anyone else who says they would like to share their code with us? Thank you, Zinhle, for that. I appreciate the time that you took to design your project. All right, so if there's no one else who would like to share their code with us, we will then move on. So let me share my screen. So the first thing I want to do is to share with you guys, this is what was not working yesterday. So as we'll see, I changed it a bit. It doesn't glide anymore. I made sure that when you click the flag, it goes to this position, it sets the lives, and then it will change the position of X by -10. And then I'm testing here if the position of X, sorry, if X position, yes, is less than 241, which is the end of the screen, or is equal to 241, which is also the end of the screen, then it must go back to the beginning of the screen. The reason I'm doing it this way, because the reason I have an or here is because sometimes it will happen that it may become 242 when it stops, so it might not work. So if I only said when it equals to 241, sometimes if it doesn't even get to 241, then it will not go to this position. And so I just made sure that if it is even less than 241, so if it is 242 or 243, then I know that it is going to go back to its position. And if you touch the cat, then it must set the position to 261, which is the beginning of the screen, and then it must change lives. So that's what I did with that one. So we are going now to move on to our lesson for today, and I'm going to open my browser and share this browser and open Mizora. And I'm back today to my stable internet, so we should not have any issues like we experienced yesterday. So I hope all of you guys have signed up. And so we are going now to log in. Come to our dashboard, and we have blocks opened. Is there anyone in today's lesson who is joining us for the first time? If you are joining us for the first time, just please just raise your hand so that I know how to go ahead today, whether there are things that I need to be very slow in doing or I can just go ahead. So anyone who is joining us for the first time, it's Nthateng. So Nthateng, you are joining us for the first time. I hope you have been able to log in to Mizora. If you have not, please stay put. I will help you to register right at the end of this session. So for the benefit of Nthateng, we are using Mizora. This is the platform that we will use today to code. We have here all our coding blocks. All the code blocks that we need, they are found here. And to use a block, you drag and you drop it on the coding screen right here. And we can use, we can change costumes. So we said that each of our characters, which is called a sprite, has one or many costumes. So depending on which sprite you use, it will have one or many costumes. This one has two. And then we can also have sound. We can use various sounds. So, but if you want to get an in-depth look at Miss Zora, please just go through our YouTube channel, Africa Teen Geeks, and you will find the videos of the introduction there. And so all our code that is going to run, it's going to be displayed here, or the character is going to be acting out the code on this section. So please go through our videos and you familiarize yourself with the platform. And yes, you can then join us once again when we continue tomorrow. So what we are going to do in today's lesson, as I come back to speaking slower, in today's lesson, we are going to create another game. And in our game, it is possibly going to be similar to what was shared before. The young lady who shared her game, your name has escaped my mind right now. So we are going to do something similar. It won't be the same. It will be similar to what she had done. And so we are going to look at a guessing game. So I saw a video on YouTube yesterday. I was going through what I was going to teach, and I saw this video on YouTube and I liked it. And of course, I remixed it to put some of my ideas to the game to make it more interesting. So I'm not taking ownership of this game. I saw it on YouTube and I thought it would be nice to teach some of the concepts that I'm going to teach you guys today. So the first thing that we will do is that we want a sprite, and I'm going to choose Abby. Okay, my daughter's name is Abby, so I will choose her. And just so that we don't have a white background, we are going to select a backdrop. And I'm going to select, okay, let's just take this one because we can't go to the sea anymore. So we'll use this backdrop. So we have a sprite and we have a backdrop, and that's all we are going to need from the sprites and backdrop section. So because it's a guessing game, what we'll do is that we are going to try and guess a number. So what we'll do is that we are going to say when the flag is clicked, we are going to put a head block, and we say when the flag is clicked, and we will have two variables in this our game. We'll have one variable called guess, and this variable is going to be available for all sprites. And we are going to bring guess in. We are going to have another variable called random. Let me call random. I'll just say random number. Okay, let me use it as random number. Okay, let me do the right thing. Random number and use camel casing. Okay, so let me just, okay, so let me say random number. I'll bring you over this side also. So we have two variables. We have random number and we have guess. Now, the random number, obviously, we would want to, at a later stage, when we start playing our game, we want to remove this random number so that the person with whom you are playing the game doesn't see the number that the computer selected for you. Okay, so now we have these two variables. So whenever we start the game, we want to set the guess to 0, and we want to set the random number. Sorry, we want to set the guess to 0, and we then want to set the guess, the random number. Then okay, let's start again. we want to set the guess variable to 0. So whenever you start, the number that is going to be in here is going to be 0. And for Tateng, who is joining us for the first time, we said that a variable is like a container. If you take, let's say, an empty glass, and the glass is empty, it contains nothing. It doesn't contain anything. And so we then take a marble and say marbles, we put the marbles inside the glass. We will then say this is a glass of marbles. If we take out the marbles and we put pencils, we will then say this is a glass of pencils. So depending on what is inside the container, that variable becomes that thing. So when we start, we are going to say variable, you have 0 inside of you, okay? So now variable called guess. Now the second one is that we are going to have another container called a random number, and a random number is going to be equal to a random number. So we have a code in Misora called a random number under operators. So we are going to say computer set guess to 0 and then set the random number variable to any random number between 1 and 10. It can be 1 and 100 or any numbers, only any 2 numbers that you choose. Just bear in mind that it will be any number between 1 and 10, including 1 and 10, okay? So it's going to include 1 and 10. And so we have initialized our what are these things now? Our variables. And so we are going to move on. Now that we have 2 variables, we want to move on, and we are going to do the first thing. We are going to ask, so our sprite is going to ask a question, or it's going to say, give me a number between 1 and 10. So we are going to come to sensing, and we will use the block called ask what is your name. So the question we are going to ask is, give me a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so that is the first question, or rather the statement, give me a number between 1 and 10. All right, but let's make it fun. Let's use text to speech. And let me just cut this. Instead of saying, oh, sorry, no, it's not going to work. Sorry, leave that. It's not going to work. Leave that for now. Sorry, you can leave it like this. It's fine, but leave this. Don't cut it. So she's going to ask, she's going to say, give me a number between 1 and 10. And you are going to have to put the number in here. Let's say I put number 6 and I press enter. Nothing happens because she doesn't know what I have done. She has just said, give me a number between 1 and 10 and wait. And she has done that. And now we need to listen to this number that is going to be entered here. We need a way to take the number that is inside, that is the user or the person that is playing the game is going to type in here. We need to take this number and put it inside a variable. So we are going to take this number and put it inside here so that the computer can remember, or the computer can know that the number that was entered is equal to 7. So we are going to then say variables, set the guess. So set the guess variable to whatever number is typed in here, okay? how we'll do that is that we will say, set the guess to answer. If you go to sensing, you'll find there's answer there. So set the guess to answer. Now, we have something here. We have set the guess to answer. So whenever we type a number here, it's going to remove everything that is in guess. Whatever is inside this variable called guess is going to remove it, and it's going to replace it with the answer that we find here. If it's a word that says, okay, let's say mihlali. If it's mihlali, it's going to take this, it's going to remove the 7 that was there before, and then it's going to take mihlali and put mihlali there as the answer. So anytime I say guess, inside guess, there's mihlali. Okay, so now that we have that, we want to connect, let's connect it. Okay, let's connect it. And we then want to say, if, or we want to test or check if the guess that we have made, if this guess equals this random number. So you see now, when we click the flag, it gives us a random number. Whenever I click the flag, it gives me a random number. So we now want to check if the guess that we made here is equal to this random number. So is 7 equal to 8? The answer is no. Is 8 equal to 8? The answer is yes. So we want a way to find out now whether that is true or false. So we are going to say if then else. We have been using if before. We're going to say if then else today. So if then else, we come back. If then else, if guess equals random number, we must do something. So we are going to say if guess equals random number. If guess equals random number, what must we do? If guess equals random number, we must say that is correct. That is the correct number. Okay. Or else, if the number, okay, let's put this one here. We said we are going to do nested if statements. Or else, so if the number is correct, sorry, let's just try again. Let's see what happens. You see, if the number is not correct, she just keeps quiet. So let's say number 6. So let's see if I do 6. Okay, I know why it wants. Okay, we'll fix it. We'll fix it now. It wants a loop. So let's first finish this one. If the number, if the guess is equal to the random number, then it must speak that is the correct number. Or else, if we're going to use a greater than sign this time. If the guess is greater than a random number, it must say the number is too big. Please try again. So if the number number that is guessed is greater than the random number that we are given, it must say the number is too big, please try again. Or else, so if the number is greater than, if the number is equal to, it will say that is correct. If the guessed number is greater than the random number, it must say the number is too big, please try again. Or else we then know. If it's not equal to and if it's not greater than, we know that the number is too small. We can then say the number is a bit small. Please try again. All right, so the number is a bit small. Please try again. And let's see, guess a number.
That is the correct number.
Okay, so now we are going to say, let's start again. Now the number is 1, so we'll say 3.
The number is too big. Please try again.
You see, let's make it 8.
The number is a bit small. Please try again.
So you see that it says, what happens is that if I put 3, it comes in here, it says, is 3 equal to 4? And then it comes, if 3 is not equal to 4, it goes out. It says, is 3 greater than 4? The number is still, that is wrong. And then it says, okay, then it means then 3 is less than 4, and it gives me this code here. So now to stop us from clicking the flag all the time, if we get it wrong, we are going to say repeat until. Repeat until, and we'll find all of this here. We'll put all of this here. So repeat until, let me copy this code. We will repeat that until guess equals to random number. So while guess is not equal to random number, we are going to keep trying. So let's see what happens. I'm going to say it's 3.
The number is too big. Please try again.
See, 6.
The number is too big. Please try again.
0.
The number is a bit small. Please try again.
Let's see if we do a minus number.
The number is a bit small. Please try again.
So you see what happens. It chooses the correct if condition. It chooses the correct condition based on what is inside the variable. And you will also see, maybe you are seeing that now you see the guess there is minus 43, and that is the value of guess, the variable. Now let's see what happens if I press 23 and I press enter.
The number is too big. Please try again.
You see now that the minus 43 is replaced by the number 23. So now the value of guess is now 23. If I press again a different number, the value of guess, which is 23, will be replaced by 87.
The number is too big. Please try again.
Now let's see if I can use a name.
The number is too big. Please try again.
You see, it should actually not even give me an answer because the name is not a number. All right. So now you see that Afikile is suddenly the variable, or whatever the value of the variable. And if you wanted to, you can also hide this random number by coming to variables and select or unselect random number. And then now you can.
That is the correct number.
You know, we can have, we can play a game really where we are randomly trying to find the answer. So then the next thing that we can do to our game is that I think you guys will know that I think I like scores. I like keeping scores quite a lot. So we are going to keep a score, and we are going to say When the flag is clicked, I'm going to put that there on its own so that it doesn't bother us. When the flag is clicked, set score. Sorry, I was supposed to create a new variable called score. Sorry. When the flag is clicked, set score to 0. So it's always going to start at 0. Then when we have set the score to 0, we are going to say if, now please take note that it is not inside the nested loop. Sorry, the nested if statement. So we have an if then that starts here. If then, it starts here, and then we have the else of this if then. And we have another if then under the else of the first if then. So if you look at it, we take this if then and we put it inside the else part of that if then. But this if then that we are going to join now, we put it outside. So this if then ends here, and then the loop ends here. So we are going to take this if then and put it between the loop and the first if then. I hope you will take note of that. So this one that we are inserting now is not part of the nested, it is not part of the nested if statement. It is outside that nested if statement. So we want to say, once again, I'll copy this because I can. If guess equals to random number, change the score to, change the score by 1, or else change the score by -1. Let's see.
The number is a bit small. Please try again.
If guess equals random number, then or else, why is it not counting?
The number is a bit small. Please try again.
Okay, let's see. Why is it not? Why do I always have problems? Wow. Every day I come here and everything works at home. When I start the lesson, I always have
That
something
is the correct
that doesn't
number.
work. Okay. Random number is 10.
That is the correct number.
If guess equals random, yes, change score. Sorry, change score. Change score. It happens. Change score by 1. If there's anyone who picked it up, thank you for picking it up.
That is the correct number.
So score changes. Let's say.
The number is too big. Please try again.
See, then it deducts from our score. So that was a simple game. It was really just a simple game, and let me just see some of your messages. Tando, are you able to hear me now? I see Tando says he could not hear me. So that is a simple game of using random numbers. Okay, Ashley is asking, how do you make the game automatically pick a random number? Okay, so if we come to our code, Ashley, thank you for the question. If you come to our code, you will see that we have, when flag is clicked, we have these variables that we are setting or we are initializing here. And then we go into the code. It will then say, sorry, pick random number. If you see here, it says set random number to pick random number. You find that in operators, there's a code called pick random number. So that is how we set, that is how we get the game to pick a random number. So I hope that answers you. I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'm going to take, there's a person, there's someone who had their hand up. Okay, the hand is not up anymore. So we have got to the end of this particular game. You can ask your questions by raising your hand. Yes, and then I will answer you. My email address, I'm typing it in the chat. Okay, we are going to take Prinal. Oh, Prinal is laughing, is not asking a question. I thought you were asking a question. Okay. Any question? So she's asked, someone is asking, Nuria, mustn't the score be 0, not -1? I saw that. So let's see what is going on. So the score now, as we start the game, is at 0. So the random number is 9. So I will leave it at 8. And I'll press enter. It's supposed to be
The number is a
-1.
bit small. Please try again.
Okay, so let's do 9.
That is the correct number.
Okay, let's start again. Let's do 4. No, so let's do 3.
That is the correct number.
See, now what happens when, Nuria, is that when I press the flag, remember it erases everything. It restarts all the variables. And the reason it was -1 is because when I clicked on the flag, the number became 0 and I inserted a wrong number and it went to -1. That is why it became -1, because when I start the flag, it resets the variable and minus is, well, it then takes it takes 1 from 0, which becomes -1. I hope that is helping you. Ashley, do you want to say something or can I mute you?
Oh no, sir, I'm fine.
Fine, all right, cool. Anyone who has a question or who says they would like us to edit this game a bit, or there is somewhere you have been stuck? No one. Okay, Lumbala. You can you can unmute yourself.
Sir?
Yeah.
So I think when she said it's a bit bigger, she must say you're almost close.
Okay, that's all right. So the number is almost close. Okay, that's fine. You can do that on your game.
Okay.
Almost close. Okay, cool. I've changed it. All right. Sorry about that. So he said I must say it's almost close. I must change it. I've done that. Anyone else? Now, let's see what happens if our game, for instance, has to do with text. Whether if we have an incorrect spelling, what do you, or rather, let me ask this question. If, let's say, we were using text, right? What do you think would happen if there's an incorrect spelling? Let's say I wanted to spell afikile, and instead of that, I said afikila. What do you think would happen? Would it work or would it not work?
So
And- yeah? Ashley,
I think yes, I think the game would correct you for the right spelling.
you think it would correct me? How? Remember, the game doesn't know anything you have not taught it. Remember that? It doesn't know anything that you have not taught it. It only knows what you tell it. So for instance, here, the variable is going to be whatever I place on here. It knows the spelling that I have given it. It doesn't know anything else. So if what is inside the container, which is guess, if my spelling is this way and I spell it this way, it is not going to recognize that because it is looking for an identical match of what I have. So maybe what you can do is that you have your own game. I'm giving that as a challenge to you guys. You have your own game, but instead of using random numbers, see what happens when you ask it for a name and you save the name in a variable and you ask for or save that to a variable, yes, and put in an incorrect answer. See what happens. So when you are practicing at home, looking at this code, you can just play around with different ideas to see what happens when you are working with text. How does it work? So what I think maybe tomorrow, what we are going to do briefly, we are going to look at how we can include a list. So we can have a list of names. Let's say we have a list of names. We have a list of names. So we have this list. So let's say we have add Nuria to names. And let's add Tatong. We add that. You'll see that all the names that we keep adding, they are coming onto our list. And we have Ashley. So we may look, how can we use lists and how can we code the computer so that it goes through the list, or we play a game that we are going to try and guess the names that the other person has placed in the list. But I mean, there are various things that we could do with lists. Yeah, play around with the same game. If you play around with the same game, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is that is to screenshot this game, and I am going to send it in the chat section so that you can have it available when we finish today's lesson. So any more question or a comment concerning what we have done today? Any person who says, I have a question to ask? I think our lessons are becoming shorter and shorter as we go. So no one has any question or comment? I've sent the screenshot. Okay, no one has a question? No one has a comment? Okay, Hadia, you can unmute yourself. Was that a mistake, Hadia? Okay, Brinal, you can unmute yourself. Or is that oh, it's just a thumbs up. Okay, so if there's no question or there's no comment, can we call it a day today? And tomorrow I'm going to have then a 50-minute session. I tried to skimp today's session to allow us to have questions at the end. And I see that I suppose maybe it's because I'm a good teacher that you understand everything, or maybe you guys are scared to ask. I hope it's the first one. So tomorrow's session will go back to being 50 minutes and we will have 10 minutes to ask our questions. So thank you once again for your time. Thank you for joining me and listening to this session. Until tomorrow, please have yourself a wonderful day. Is there anyone who was not able to log in, by the way, before we go? Let me stop.
Yes, from me.
You?
Yes.
Okay.